My parents stormed into my workplace, yelling that I had ruined the family name because I refused to cover my spoiled sister's rent. They berated me as a disgrace, but branded me a betrayer in front of my supervisor and demanded my entire earnings. I walked out mid-shift and cut all contact, but they never anticipated my next move. Now they are in a state of utter panic. "What have you done? You've gone too far this time," they said. Let me begin by introducing myself. My name is John, and I am a 28-year-old man who has always been the dependable one in my family. The person who did everything correctly. I graduated with distinction, secured a respectable profession, and never requested a single cent from my parents after I turned 18. Meanwhile, my youngest sister, Emily, 25, it has drifted through existence as if it were a never-ending social media challenge. She abandoned her university studies, wasted away 3 different flats, and currently works 2 days a week at some novelty shop while our parents pay her $2,200 a month for her dwelling, or at least they used to. That's where this all began. A month ago, my father called me with that familiar, "I loathe to ask this of you, son," tone. He explained that he and my mother were financially strained and needed me to temporarily take on Emily's rent for a few months until they could recover. I told him no, not with hostility, but with sincerity. I expressed that I labor diligently for my earnings, and if Emily desires to live in a luxurious apartment in downtown New York, perhaps she should secure a proper job. He fell silent for a moment before muttering, "You're betraying your kin." I believed that was the end of it, but I was mistaken. 2 weeks later, while I was managing a client proposal at my advertising agency, a position I'd worked tirelessly to achieve, my parents burst into the office. Without any forewarning or a scheduled meeting, they rushed past the reception area and came directly to my workspace, their faces flushed with rage. "You ungrateful youth," my mother shrieked. "How dare you abandon your sibling? Do you believe that salary makes you superior to us?" My father thundered, "We brought you up to preserve this lineage, not to destroy it." My superior, my colleagues, and half the entire establishment froze in the middle of their discussions as they continued their tirade against me. They accused me of turning my back on the family legacy, which, by the way, we do not have, off selling out for a corporate occupation. My mother even had the audacity to demand my entire salary right then and there, as if I owed it to them, as if it were mine only on temporary loan. I looked around at the shocked expressions of my co-workers, my supervisor glaring at me with contempt, and my parents completely unhinged. And at that moment, something inside me just broke. I did not raise my voice. I did not debate. I simply rose, removed my identification badge, looked my superior straight in the eye and said, "I need to withdraw." I then walked out right in the middle of my work shift. My colleagues attempted to stop me. My supervisor asked if I needed a leave of absence. I replied, "No, I just need to be away from people who believe they possess me." That was the day I initiated no contact. I secured a new apartment and found a new occupation in a different metropolitan area, thanks to an old professor who had heard what happened and vouched for my character. For a time, the quiet was magnificent, but then the communications started pouring in from different phone numbers, emails, and social media. Friends informed me that my parents were panicking because what they had not known, what they had never expected, was that I had finally reached my limit. I had already done something they would never forgive, an act that made them shriek. "What have you done?" My mother messaged me this morning. "You have gone too far this time." But to that, I say, you wanted a conflict. You got one. So, what did I do that sent my parents into a complete panic? Let me explain. After walking away from my employment, I vanished. A new phone number, a new metropolis, a new dwelling, a completely fresh start. And for several weeks, it felt like I was finally breathing air that didn't have the taste of remorse and duty. But the fury did not subside. The more I contemplated their actions, the public humiliation, the sense of entitlement, the notion that my salary was rightfully theirs, the angrier I became. They disgraced me at my workplace, shouted at me in front of my boss, and tried to make me feel as though I had betrayed them for not being Emily's personal fund. But they never once considered their own behavior. So, I took action. You see, my parents have always been preoccupied with their reputation. They run a small family-owned antique shop in our hometown, a legacy that is more about ego than earnings. In truth, that shop operates at a deficit. For years, the only reason that have stayed afloat is because I have been discreetly supplementing their business bank account with automated transfers every single month since I was 24. They never requested it, they simply expected it. Those automated payments, I terminated them the very day I left my occupation. And that was not all. I also reached out to the accountant who handles their taxes, whom I recommended and pay for, by the way, and informed him that I was no longer financially connected with the store in any capacity. I made it official. I removed my name from the shared business account I had co-signed on just to assist them in qualifying for that equipment loan years ago. But here's the real twist. When I was still helping with their finances, I established everything digitally. all the point-of-sale systems, payment processors, even their online store's back-end. I owned the website domain their store used because they didn't comprehend how to register it. So yes, I took the site offline. I transferred the domain to a placeholder page that now reads, "Closed for restructuring. Please direct all inquiries to Emily, the financial director." It may have been childish, but it was also poetic. And I also gave Emily a glimpse of what being the family's legacy feels like. I redirected their business phone number to her mobile device. Now she has two. Explained to confused patrons and frustrated vendors why orders are missing, invoices are overdue, and the website has simply disappeared. Within a week, I began receiving emails from my uncle, their accountant, my relative who sells pottery through their shop, and even some old family acquaintances, all essentially inquiring about the same thing. What is happening with the store? Your parents are saying you sabotaged them. Emily is losing her mind. And finally, the ultimate satisfaction. A panicked voice message from my father's alternate phone that concluded with, "What have you done? You have gone too far this time, son. Too far." I kept a struggling venture alive for years. I paid Emily's phone bill for 3 years without her knowledge. I helped cover the security deposit when she ruined her previous apartment. I never complained. But the moment I said no, I became the adversary. And you know what? Perhaps I am the villain in their tale, but in my own, I am at last liberated.